Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Seyi and this is the Daily Seyi, where we talk about all things life, beauty, style, etc, etc. And if you are a returning subscriber, thank you so much for tuning in and being a real one. Today's video, I'm actually going to get a little more personal. How I spend my money. Essentially, I'm going to break down how I spend my money by percentages. I'm not going to give specifics because the specifics can kind of range depending not only on the month, but also on like additional income that I get. So for background and clarity, I work a traditional 9-to-5 and I also am a content creator, influencer, and blogger. Today, I'm going to mainly be focused on how I spend my salary because I feel like that is more common than having like a non-traditional salary. And then I'll also slightly go into how I spend my blogging income. But again, my blogging income varies month by month. One month you can get a certain amount, the next month it could be nothing. And so that one is a little more like, one-off, but the salary is always consistent. So that's the best way I can share with y'all how I spend my money. I wanted to do this video because this year and last year, I finally kind of established, a sense of just kind of like steadiness when it comes to my finances. I think I did a video about this either mid last year or early this year, I can't remember. But essentially I was just talking about how I went from like, being in super debt and being, having my car repossessed to now like having like a steady savings account and things like that. So I have my phone here. I got my notes, hold on. How you spend my money. You can't see it, but it's breaking it down. I have already paid off a car, so I don't have a car note. The only really big debt I have are my student loans, but at the time of this video, those are currently in deferment because of the Rona. But, I will just include that as a reference, like as a percentage of what I would be paying once that deferment is no longer intact. So let's get right into it. When I first get paid, the first two things I do is that I put money towards my tithe and I put money towards my savings account. If you are of the Christian faith, then you'll know what tithe is. Tithe is basically 10% of your income. So for me, it's 10% of my bi-weekly income. So I always try to send that either within the day or within 2 days of me getting paid. I tithe because I see what my church is doing in the LA community as a whole. Like they literally break it down to share how much they, donated to different organizations, to different initiatives. And so I know that my money is not only going towards helping the church grow, but also helping the community thrive. Then I put money into my emergency savings account. I put away 15% of my check. It's been like a little over a year and a half now that I've been consistently saving, and I'm very proud of myself. I'm just gonna give myself a pat on the back because look, I did not grow up saving. Now the fact that I'm able to actually put money into a savings means a lot to me because one, it shows that I can be disciplined, and two, it just shows that life can throw things at you and look, you come out on top-ish. From there, I immediately put away money for rent, and so in total, how much I put away to rent is 22%. The rule of thumb is that your rent should be 30% or lower than your monthly income, which is great because of that, I'm able to save more. Obviously, it's like a sacrifice to downsize in that way, but it has been beneficial to our financial situations. And so I think like the sacrifice was worth it. I usually put about 7.5% of my monthly income towards my credit card. So I have 2 credit cards right now as of this video. Now that like the exact amounts vary between each credit card. Some months I will use one credit card and I'm like, okay, I need to pay back more on that card. Or some months I'll use another one and I'll pay back more. Or some months they're both equal, so I pay the same. But for the most part, it kind of is a toss-up. 7.5 to 10% is usually the range, but it usually stays around that 7.58. It's 10% when I, was going a little too hard, when I decided to buy a little too much. That's okay, I'm human, so it is what it is. Usually about 5% goes towards groceries. Groceries is a need. I mean, I feel like as of late, more has been going towards groceries just because we're in the house more. But I think that's good because then that kind of leads to less eating out. I'm going to say a quick disclaimer right now that I do tend to eat out. Yeah. The thing about it, when I do go grocery shopping, I don't eat out almost for like those 2 weeks where I have groceries in the house. And then the issue is that once groceries are gone, then I get lazy and I'm like, I gotta go to the grocery store. So, it kind of balances itself out. But for the most part, 5% is usually going towards groceries / eating. And that's pretty much consistent. I pretty much have a set grocery budget. I mean, I get the same thing over and over again with some variations, so I know how much it will usually come out to. And obviously also my sister pitches in for groceries as well. So it's not just me paying for it, which is helpful. I don't pay for every single bill in this household, which is also helpful. So, you know, if you live on your own, then sure, this might be a little less realistic. But if you have a partner, a roommate, you know, what have you, then things like this kind of becomes a little easier because you have somebody to split it with. But that's just my own thing. About 2% goes towards my phone bill. Usually 15 to 20% goes towards leisure spending. Leisure spending in my head right now is like clothing and miscellaneous items, or like just random items. I'm just like, oh, I want to get that. I like clothes, I like shoes, I like cute things, so I buy these things. You know, I'm only human. About 5 to 8% of my income goes towards a water and power bill, and a gas bill. And so those are the two main bills that I pay in the household besides rent and my phone bill. So usually I divvy up the money to those. Now, again, I don't really have full percentages for that because it kind of varies. Those bills can be higher depending on the season. Like we're in summer right now, so my AC is consistently on. You know, I don't like to be hot. So I'm willing to pay the extra fee for that. And then my student loans is the next thing. My student loans are quite a bit. I've actually been able to get them down, but initially they were trying to have me pay 4 figures, and I was like, no. The answer is no. My MBA is really where all these loans are coming from. Like, I took out a lot of loans because, you know, that was the only thing I could do. I did get scholarship for that, but I still had to take out loans because I wasn't rich and I'm not rich. So overall, I think that kind of adds up close to 100% when I count all that in. Yeah, I think once you add in my loans, it adds up to about 100%. So yeah, that is how I usually divvy up my income. I want to share this because I know it can be helpful to kind of see how other people are using their money and, you know, spending their money, so you can kind of get a better idea of how to spend your money, especially if you're trying to just get into a position where you want to be more financially secure and financially stable. Now, I'm going to quickly talk about my blogging income because that varies from time to time, but I think it's important to also share that the blogging income. So usually when I get it, first things first, I put my 10% to type, the same as my salary. Then I put about 30% to taxes. Child, I'm going to be transparent with this one. With my job, luckily, like, and the money I was making last year, it was a decent amount-ish. You know, it was cute. It was cute. But my income, like my salary or the taxes that was taken out from my 9 to 5 helped to cover the money that I made from my blogging income. It wasn't like super much, but it was something. Now this year I'm on track to kind of make much more, which I'm very grateful for. And so I'm like, okay, I feel like my taxes from my income, my 9 to 5, may not fully cover, you know, the taxes that I'm supposed to be paying from my blogging income. So I put money away for taxes because I do not want that to come bite me in the butt come February 2021 when I found my taxes and it tells me I owe a certain amount and then I have to pull from somewhere like my savings account just to pay it. I'd rather just have it, and let's say I don't owe anything, then hey, I just have that extra money sitting there. Now, sometimes it's not always 30%, sometimes it'll be 25%, sometimes it'll be 20%, and I will admit there have been times where I've had to dip into that account for some other business expenses, but I do that only because I know that my 9 to 5 income will help to kind of, you know, balance things out. I told myself that once I got to a certain level with my savings account, then I will stop kind of putting in money there. But right now, I do put about 30% to 40% of whatever I make from my blogging income towards my savings account. Now, this varies once again. This kind of depends on the amount of money it is and like if I'm needing that for something else. And then I'll put about 15% to blogging expenses. So blogging expenses I categorize as paying for my website, as paying for a photographer usually every month or so. And that's pretty much it. And then if there's any other like one-off things, but for the most part, those are the two main expenses I have. And then I put about 15% towards leisure spending because I like to treat myself, especially after a campaign finishes. I operate in the treat yourself realm. That's where I operate. Some days I'm like, perhaps I don't need to treat myself. So I really don't when I get paid, and I'll just put it in a savings account. But on the times that I do, I'm like, yeah, you get that, girl, you get it. And that is pretty much how I spend my income, both my 9 to 5 and my blogging income. But I hope that the percentage breakdown is at least somewhat helpful for you to get an understanding of how I spend my money. I'm just trying to do the best I can with what I have and be smart about it. So with that said, that is the end of today's video, y'all. Thank you so much for tuning in, per the usual, and I'll catch y'all in my next one. Until next time, bye.